A family in Nairobi's Kabiria estate is appealing for help to find their missing daughter, a second-year student at the University of Nairobi's Kikuyu campus. The family of 20-year-old Jane Atila says she disappeared on October the 3rd, and all efforts to trace her have been futile. There are now fears that she may have been abducted after callers allegedly demanded money from the family for her release.
It is now emerging that 21-year-old University of Nairobi student Jane Atila was allegedly murdered by her estranged boyfriend after her family failed to raise 1,500 shillings demanded as ransom by the suspect. Now, this comes as more victims step forward with damning allegations against the suspect, Nicholas Mutia, whom they accuse of torturing and sexually assaulting them within the Kefri Forest.
Kaniambia kwenu hutaenda na nitakuua, ujue mimi ni Mkamba, nimeua wangapi, nimekunywa damu ngapi, hata wewe ujue siku yako ni leo. Nataka kitu yote, siku nataka ni pesa. Na nilikuwa na pesa, lakini hiyo siku pepe simu nilikuwa na pesa. Nilikuwa na 100 bob kwa simu, akaniambia nipe hadi pini ya M-Pesa, nikampea. Ndio sikuwa na pesa. Hiyo siku hata ni Mungu alinisaidia.
Akamwambia hapo utoki bila hizo pesa zangu kunirejeshea. So mimi ndio niko naye. So mkimtaka mimi ndio niko naye. Nitumie hiyo 1,500 mimi sister yako nitamtoa kwenye alipo.
Alikuwa anahitaji pesa zaidi kutoka kwangu, akisema kwamba ndiye akona dada yangu na hata muachilia mpaka atakapopata pesa kutoka kwangu. Nilijaribu kwenda kuripoti mara mbili Kefri Police Station, nilirudishwa kwa gate mara zote mbili wakidismiss story yangu.
Human rights activists now blame police for laxity in investigating these cases when they are reported.
People come forward and they report, but police are too slow in investigating.
The cameras open on the University of Nairobi Kikuyu campus at dawn. Students cross the gates in the early morning light, backpacks over their shoulders, heading to class. It looks like any other day at any other university, ordinary, full of possibility. Jane Atila was 21 years old, a second-year Bachelor of Education student. By all accounts, she was warm, hardworking, and deeply loved by her family. She was the kind of daughter parents sacrificed for, and she knew it. Her brother recalls that she never took the opportunity lightly. She understood what it cost. On the evening of October 3rd, 2025, Jane left her hostel to visit her boyfriend. She didn't tell anyone where she was going. The campus gates closed at dusk behind her. She never came back. Days passed with no words. Then her brother's phone rang. The voice on the other end said he had Jane. He said that if the family didn't send money, something would happen to her. The amount he demanded was 2,500 Kenyan shillings, not even $20 US. Her brother didn't freeze. He acted promptly. He called everyone he could reach and managed to send 1,000 shillings immediately. But the remaining 1,500, he couldn't put it together in time. He was still trying when the window closed. Days passed with no words. What followed is something they will carry forever. But the ransom call was not the only call the family received. At some point during those desperate days, an unknown number contacted them claiming to be the OCPD, the Officer Commanding Police Division. The voice told them that Jane was at Kilgoris Police Station, that she had been beaten badly, that she had been taken to Kilgoris Hospital and now was back, and the family needed to come and collect her. The family felt a surge of relief. She was alive. She was found. They sent the uncle. He drove to Kilgoris Police Station and asked for Jane. She was not there. Nobody at that station knew anything about her. The person who had made that call was not a police officer. It was a lie designed to send the family into the wrong direction, and it worked. While the uncle was searching Kilgoris, Jane was somewhere else entirely. The family had to start the search over from scratch. There is one more detail that sits heavily over everything that came before. Neighbours later told investigators that in the days before Jane vanished, they had had her and her boyfriend engaged in a very serious argument. Raised voices, a confrontation that people nearby could not ignore. Nobody knew then what it meant. Looking back, It feels like a warning that no one was positioned to act on. But there is another part of this story that is just as damning. Jane's brother didn't wait helplessly by the phone. He went to Kabete Police Station to report her missing. They turned him away at the gate. He came back the second time. They turned him away again. No statement was taken. No file was opened. Nothing. Human rights advocate who later reviewed the case believed Jane may still have been alive when her brother was standing at the police station door. We will never know what a timely response would have changed. On October 17, 2025, 14 days after Jane was last seen, her decomposed body was found in Kefri Forest on the outskirts of Nairobi. Investigators arrested a man named Mutia Mutia, believed to be Jane's estranged boyfriend. He allegedly confessed during interrogation to luring her into the forest after an argument on the night she disappeared. As the investigation continued, 2 other women came forward. They told investigators that the same man had abducted, assaulted, and dropped them in the same forest. Jane, it appears, was not his first victim. She was simply the one he killed. After news of Jane's death spread, students gathered at the university gates across Nairobi. They held candles and handwritten signs and photographs of a girl most of them had never met but felt they knew. Because she was like them, she was one of them. Jane's killing did not happen in isolation. Kenya in 2025 was grappling with a rising tide of violence against young women, many of them students, many of them killed by men they trusted. Activists had been sounding the alarm for months. Jane's case became the one that broke through. Legal advocates and human rights groups are calling for 3 things: a full criminal prosecution of Jane's killer, disciplinary accountability for the officers who twice turned her brother away, and the fundamental forum of how Kenya's police handle missing women. Because what happened to Jane was not just one man's crime, it was a system failing at every level to treat her life as something worth protecting. Back in the family home in Western Kenya, Jane's mother sits quietly. The photographs are still on the shelf. The house is still clean and swept. Everything is the same except everything is different. Jane deserved to graduate. She deserved to become a teacher she was studying to be. She deserved the ordinary life her family worked so hard to give her: the graduations, the homecomings, the Sunday meals, the future. Instead, her life was taken because a family couldn't raise 1,500 shillings. Not because they didn't try. Her brother tried. He sent what he had. He went to police. He did everything a person could do, and it still wasn't enough because the system that should have stood behind him didn't. Jane Atila Quedeya was not a statistic. She was a daughter, a sister, a student, a person with a whole life ahead of her, and she was let down by a man who should have loved her, by officers who should have listened, and by a society that is still deciding whether women like her matter enough to protect. She deserved justice before she was killed. Mutia Mutia was arrested and charged in connection with Jane's murder. The officers who turned away Jane's brother had faced calls for investigation. And we will never know, even if that 1,500 was sent to Nicholas, that he would have let Jane live.